Well, today, before we wrap up, we have a little bit of a celebration we want to do. As you've been hearing, we've been working at an AIDS initiative where we are rallying our people towards AIDS care kits, AIDS care cards, and World Vision Children. And today's the day to celebrate. So we have a thank you video as well as a special guest. So hang tight. Let's watch this video together, and then we're going to welcome a special guest with us.
I'm here in Momposa region in eastern Malawi, and I'm able to see some of the work that World Vision Canada is doing as they try and work with World Vision Malawi and the people of this region to create a wonderfully sustainable model where children can go to school and complete it, where families have enough food to eat, where there's health care and education. I am a World Vision sponsor. I was able to meet my sponsor child, Fazila, today. Fazila is a 5-year-old, and she is this playful, curious, and very shy little girl. And it was such a treat to see how her family is being supported by World Vision. So my World Vision sponsorship's an opportunity for me to follow through in what Jesus talks about. Jesus talks about that we belong to one another, that we are family, and to whom much has been given, much is required. And so for me, being a sponsor is a way for me to put those pieces together in a small way, and it helps me to be a part of this kingdom that Jesus talks about.
I want to give a special welcome to Dave Toyson from World Vision. He's our guest today. As many of you have heard before, when we began our Compassion Initiative International, we had a long-term plan to both partner with MCC and World Vision. The reason why that is because really those two agencies work cooperatively in a very synergistic sort of way on the ground in providing strategic investment in probably the most devastated region in the world. And as we looked at the two agencies, although they're very complementary in strategy, they have equal integrity on the ground in terms of the work that they do as well as efficiencies. They're both very, very cost efficient. And in fact, the numbers that they spend in terms of their administration are virtually identical. And so they're both very, very efficient in what they do, and yet they work together so well. So as we rolled out this next part of the strategy, which was starting to intentionally sponsor children in Momposa, we are blown away by your response. And so we want to say thank you. And Dave, welcome. Thank you. You've asked to come and just share a few words with us. So sure. You're welcomed as our guest here.
Great. Thank you, Tim. I apologize. I'm a little croaky this morning, but I'm all right. This is really, truly an extraordinary opportunity for us at World Vision. In our 61 years of working in Canada, I don't think we've ever experienced a church sponsoring over 1,000 children. So I just want to say to you, it's incredible. You've set an incredible example, and so we're just so grateful. I thought it might be helpful for me to just underline, so why is that so important? Why is it so important what you've done? Well, just to give you an idea of the environment, for example, Momposa, the area that we're working in Malawi together, it's not unusual because there's a lot of traffic on the river in the area there, that girls, little ones, will be married off, promised off to someone as young as 10 or 12 years of age. And by sponsoring these children, and also some of the sponsorship money not only goes to help your individual child, but it also goes into the community. And it means we're trying to develop now a culture of going to school, because we know that if girls stay in school right up through, they actually will not get married off like that. It's part of changing the culture in the community. So that's just one very obvious reason. The second reason is the whole issue around child and maternal health. One statistic that always blows my mind, 1 out of 10 children in Maposa, by the time they're the age of 5, will die. 1 out of 10. And that has to do, so we're working on nutrition. We're also working with the mothers. One of the other things is the high mortality rate amongst mothers giving birth. And so the whole issue around child and maternal health, once again, by supporting these children, you're providing funds and means to help with that. And then the third area, also a critical area, is HIV/AIDS. And one of the things that we found most effective in our experience is to train, usually they're church people, Christian people, primarily women, who get what we call basic training to become part of a community care coalition. And with the HIV/AIDS rate in Maposa area, it's still at 12%, far too high. It's a critical issue around prevention and care within the families. And so that's the third thing that your contribution is really helping to change there. So these are all programs thanks to all the people, those that are at the other locations as well as the location here in Oakville. And I guess the other thing that excites me so much, you're part of a Christian movement, I believe, that's growing across the world that says we must address the full gospel. The gospel that says people's spiritual needs are critically important, of course, but also their physical needs. It's my view that when churches and when we as Christians don't practice that, there's a kind of lopsided Christianity. It isn't really solid and firm. And this is maybe a little bit over the top, but I like to think that when we do that, when we practice Christianity in a way that fits God's plan for the world, we're enhancing God's reputation in our culture. I think God wants us to do that. And at the same time, we're drawing attention to God's plan for the world, which is a plan based on Christians who love, who are generous, who pursue justice, instead of sometimes the reputation we get for being self-righteous or judgmental. And I think that's critical. In our world today, it seems to me that's the example we need to set as Christians, that will be seen as that way. As Tim has said, we are very pleased to be in partnership with MCC. We respect their work, and so that's just a wonderful additional, it's leveraging each other's abilities in the two organizations. So finally, once again, I just want to say thank you. Congratulations on what you've done. You've obviously got a heart and a vision for children, and that just motivates us even more. And then I always like to say, God's already working at Maposa. It's wonderful that we can work together and be part of what God's up to. So thank you very much.
I also want to introduce to you Natalie and Andrew, who's our compassion staff here in Meeting House. Many times you don't get a chance to see them, but just want to highlight them too as well.
Yeah, you know, a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, when we first announced AIDS Care, we had no idea what to expect. And we have heard so many incredible stories of individuals and home churches showing such radical generosity. And it is inspiring and it's exciting, and we want to celebrate these numbers. And we also want to encourage you to pray for the second half of the journey with AIDS Care, for the people who will be receiving these kits, the people on the receiving end of the care, the programs that are going to be funded from the AIDS Care cards, and of course the 1,016 children in Maposa, Malawi. So continue to pray, continue to celebrate, and thank you guys so much.
Thanks, everyone.